Folks, we have a new game here from Worthington, and should you hear any noises in the background, we have, and she vanished on us. Oh no, Miss Katie is both baking and cooking lunch. And we have painters here, and so you may hear puppies barking. So be prepared for some noise perhaps. But, new game. We're excited by this. 2 games in one, Rorkes Drift and, as the movie would call it, Zulu Dawn. Because if I try to enunciate the other one, well, you'll never finish the video because you'll be laughing so hard it may stroke out. So, great cover of Rorkes Drift. And of course the book, the epic book I think on it, The Washing of the Spears. Gotta like this. Of course, you see me here, which is probably the not so good part. But look at all those nice inserts. And look at how many dice. And then, of course, we've got Patsy here now. And, of course, the front cover, because you've got your sleeve, is the famous picture of actually the battle and our favorite, the young Salterin, pointing out to the Keller Sergeant Major where things are going even further south at. So, you can see the components here. We have 3 player aids cards, and we'll go into this in greater detail. We have 2 deluxe edition rules, and 3, let me separate them out here, counter sheets. And of course, the map that looks very historic and all. And what's really nice about this map, and we'll go into more detail, is broken into zones that tell you what you can see from whatever, so that you don't need to have a terrain analysis chart or anything like that. So, more than a minute. Let me pause it and we'll get on with it here. Alright, we're back, and we may get some help from Patsy because Patsy is skulking or lurking about. Now, the counters for Rorkes Drift. Like them? Well, I do. I like what they did with the Zulus here. Rather than making them small counters, they made them almost what I would call Zulu Impy formation size. And of course, we've got Lieutenant Bromhead and Chard. Well done counters here. And of course, that's for Rorkes Drift. Now, for the other game, of course, now we've got Buster helping us. We've got the 24th foot, poor guys, and the Zulus. And again, and what I like here, and of course, Zulus were same one over here, but the counters. Think of it in terms of change. And this is, you know, I'm supposing this is going to work very nicely. We don't know yet, but I can't imagine it's going to. Oh, you got to like the hospital fire one. The cavalry that was at Zulu Dawn. And the all-important ammo depleted. Because, well, it depends upon whose histrionics, and not historians, but histrionics you want to believe as to the importance of the ammo and the screws and the ammo boxes, but it didn't help that day. Let's just say it did not help that day doing that. And the artillery unit, which was perhaps somewhat effective, but notice I do not see right off the rocket unit. And maybe I'll find it then, but I don't see the rocket. But there are the counters, nice big counters, very attractive. And what I like too, you see that the 10s have more folks on them, look bigger than the 5, and then the 2. So, those are your counters, 3 sheets. Now, let's look at player aid cards. Player aid card for each game makes it very simple. Here's this one. Here's Rorkes Drift. Couldn't be any simpler, could it? And well constructed. I like that. Now, we have the Zulu bot chart for solitaire play. And we have the Zulu Dawn bot chart. Then, of course, we have the Rorks Drift and Zulu Dawn fire chart. And focus in here on the zones. And then when you get, if you're getting to melee, well, as a British player, you're not in such a great thing. But I like that then you break it down in terms of, oh, you know, it says you can roll one die or you can roll a lot of die at once. I don't know which I'm going to do, but beautiful artwork here on this. Just very nice job, guys. And now we have Maggie. And the rule books. Well, I like rule books. I like good rule books. And this one seems very comprehensive. It's taken me longer to get through these so far than I wanted, but I blame that because Miss Katie brings me 2 popsicles at bedtime, and I perhaps focus more on the popsicles than the game stuff.
No throw me under the bus.
I threw her under the bus. Well, actually, I probably threw her under the snow plow today because, as you can perhaps see outside in the distance, it's snowing now here. So there's that. Now let's look at the map. And we're going to have to probably focus out on the map. This is the overall map. At first I wasn't so sure about this, but I'm always a sucker for historic type looking maps. And like we talked about, Zone 25, it will show you what the ranges, what certain zones are in. So instead of, again, we come back to the thing, instead of having to come back to having to have to change the sensing of this map and lose the historic feel, instead you just do it by a simpler system. So now let's take a look at the Rorks Drift map. The Rorks Drift map. And now you see why we have the counter for the hospital being on fire. How many of you are deeply familiar with this battle? Well, I suspect most of you are, or have more than a passing familiarity with it, because, man, in the armor community, this was one of those that just really resonated with us. So, like this one too, works, and we have the zones shown up again. Clever concepts. We'll see how it plays, folks.